Hi and welcome to Old Time Knowledge. Well, this video is going to be something a little different. I figured I'm going to do some canning and I'm going to chat. So I figured you can come along with me as I can up some beef stew, and I'm going to chat about some things that I've got planned for the channel. So I have a chuck roast here that I bought yesterday. I'm canning up some beef stew from my dad. His birthday's next month, and I've already canned up some summer vegetable soup for him, which I will be putting in another video, but this one is going to be beef stew. So while I'm getting all of these things cut up and prepared to go into the jars, I have 10-pint jars that I'm going to be canning. I figured I would just talk a little bit about what's going on with me and what I've been doing to be prepared with all of the things that have been happening, but also take you through my process for canning beef stew. I did already do a video on canning beef stew before, and it was actually just a few months ago, and that one it was just about beef stew. But I need to do more, as I said, because it's going to be for my dad's birthday. Now I'm going to explain that the chuck roast obviously has a good bit of fat in it. The marbling is what makes it so delicious. However, we don't want big pieces of fat in our jars because it will liquefy in the jars, and it can cause siphoning issues. It can cause your jars not to seal. So I will be removing a good bit of this fat. Also, I will be using 4 jars lids this time. Last time I did not use 4 jars lids, although I have used 4 jars lids for many things, and I've been having such great success with them. I love them. I've become an affiliate with them, and I have a discount code, so that will be linked in the show notes below. But let me get on to chatting about what plans I have for the channel. So we're already midway through September, and I cannot believe it. And that means that we are almost at the 2-year point from when I made my fluffy biscuit video, which has by far been the most popular video on my channel ever. It has had well over 200,000 views, and I cannot believe 200,000 people care to see how I make biscuits. I look back at it now, and I've learned so much about YouTube since then. But I'm thankful for all of you who found me with that video and who've decided to stick with me and watch more videos, and I hope you're enjoying the content that I'm producing. I have something really special planned for October, and that's what I wanted to tell you about. I recently went to a local thrift store with my son. We love going to thrift stores. He likes looking for old records and CDs and music gear and camera equipment and all different kinds of things like that. I like to look for old books and possibly old dishes and things. So I ended up finding a bunch of old cookbooks that I was super excited about. And one of them in particular most of the ones that I got were from the 1960s. So we eat different today, right? I mean, there's a lot of things we eat that are way older than the 1960s. But some of the things that were really trendy and popular in the 60s and 70s are just not really things that we do today. I'm going to give you like an example. Aspic. You might be thinking, what is an aspic? Aspics are those gelatin molds that have all kinds of weird things suspended in them. They're not sweet. They're a savory. Like, I don't know if they would serve them as a main course or an appetizer. I really don't know. I can't imagine what you would serve them for, but they might have meat in them or seafood in them or vegetables in them. I mean, it's a very strange thing. But like, they would make things like that. They would make all kinds of meals that just, the ingredients, when you read the lists of the ingredients together, you're just thinking, did they just put a bunch of ingredients in a hat and draw them out? And when they had enough, they were like, we'll make a recipe out of this. So anyway, there are a lot of recipes like that I found in these cookbooks, but one in particular, which was done by, if I remember correctly, Good Housekeeping. I might be wrong about that, but I'll correct it when it's time to actually do the video. But the point is, I have gone through and I have found 13 of those recipes for the month of October that I'm going to do. I'll be publishing them, God willing, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays throughout October. I have one planned for every single one of those days. And I am so excited to bring those to you. And the theme of it's just going to be scary dishes. So these are things that when I saw them, the recipes looked a little scary to me. Some of them may turn out to be very good and just surprising. Some of them might be terrible. But I guarantee you, whichever ones I make, I will try and I will tell you what I think of them. So, I'm looking forward to that. I think it will be a lot of fun. Then after October, once I've gone through all of those recipes, I'll be doing another holiday series like I did in 2020. The holiday series will be videos about things that are great for your holiday dinner table, your holiday meals with families, appetizers, sweets, and things like that. So that might be Thanksgiving, Christmas, anything that you've got planned over the holiday season. These are some delicious things that you'll be able to make. Some of them you might be able to make and give as gifts, for instance, little candies and cookies and things like that. So and if you haven't seen the videos that I've already done for the holiday series back in 2020, you might want to go back and watch that, because I have a lot of videos that I published that year. I just didn't do it last year because I got really busy around the holiday season. And so I didn't get to it, but this year I'm hoping to do another one. I'm not sure yet what it's going to be for December, but I am going to try to get back on a more regular schedule of publishing videos and trying to really have some sort of themes. You know what I mean? And at some point in 2023, I'm hoping to do a cookbook. Just because I have so many recipes now, I feel like it would be convenient to do that. It'll be easy for me. I already have a book series. I'm an author. I have a historical fiction series called the Adam Fletcher Adventure Series on Amazon.com. I'll link it below in case you're interested. But so I know about book publishing. I'm comfortable with that. So I want to put together a cookbook. I want to make it nice and affordable, and just give you a lot of great recipes that are from these videos that I've done over the last couple of years that you can enjoy. And I probably will include some others that I haven't done videos on yet, just because I think it'll be a great resource for people. I know a lot of folks have commented on many videos that I've been doing things that, oh my goodness, I've been looking for this. I've been trying to find a recipe like this. This is exactly it. My grandmother used to make this, or we used to get this at a local restaurant. It's closed up. It's not there anymore. Oh, I'm so excited to find this recipe. So I'm hoping to keep doing videos like that, but also to put them in print so people can have those on their cookbook shelf. I love cookbooks. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love cookbooks. And at some point in the near future, I hope to do a video and just show you all these new cookbooks that I got recently. Oh my goodness, y'all, I got so many. I got so many of them. And that's just in addition to a bunch of old cookbooks I already have that were my mom's, or even I have one of my great grandmother's that was from her wood burning stove, which I don't have the actual cookbook, but I have scans of all the pages, so I love that. Anyway, okay, so you see that I'm done cutting up this meat. I'm going to just get back to talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. Because it was so expensive, I'm just trying to get every little bit, y'all, but I'm not going to be putting that fat in there. So there's really not much more to get from this. I'm just looking to make sure there's no meat in there. So this is going to go away, and then I'm going to get the other vegetables ready. You can see I have the potatoes already washed and peeled and cut up. Why do we wash and peel the potatoes? Well, I know why we wash them. Why do we peel them? I don't know. I've often wondered that, but I'm not a rebel canner, so if they say peel the potatoes before you can them, I'm going to peel the potatoes before I can them. Okay, so next I'm going to cut up the celery, and in the last video I did with beef stew, I had the celery and I had the leaves at the end of the celery. In this case, my refrigerator apparently got too cold, and so the celery had actually partially frozen, so I wasn't even able to use the parts that had the leaves. I didn't want to get those parts that were frozen. I mean, I'm sure it would have been fine, but I just decided to grab these 3 stalks like this. So I'm just going to dice these up pretty small and get these ready. And then I'm going to also dice up the carrots that I have. The carrots are also washed and peeled. And I'm going to also be adding onion to this. I'll be getting to that. I just haven't done it yet. But I'm just going to cut these vegetables up and get them ready. I can't tell you how much of each one goes in the jars. I have a recipe from the Ball Canning Cookbook that I will put in the description below. I pretty much follow that recipe. I add thyme. I don't remember if thyme is in the recipe that they have, but I definitely do add thyme to mine. Also, I don't use boiling water over this. I just go ahead and use room temperature water, and I discussed that in my other beef stew video also. I've wondered why they want you to add boiling water. I'm guessing it's because it goes ahead and gets you a head start on the canning. It can't be because the meat needs to have boiling water on it, because the meat can be raw packed anyway, all by itself. The vegetables, they often want you to boil first a little bit, like blanch them before you can them. And I've found that seems to be because if you don't, they will take on more water, so it will leave less broth in your jars. So I'm guessing maybe it's just that hot water might sort of go ahead and get the pores open of the vegetables and start getting those cooking faster. And so that's just a guess, though. But I don't think it's a safety issue. I think it's probably got to do with the quality of how the product looks in the end. But I say it so many times, I have limited working space, y'all. And so sometimes I might not have all my burners available that I can be doing things on. I'm not going to be boiling water separately from this. I'm just going to use cold water and just go with it like that. And it's fine. I've never, ever had a problem with it. So I'm going to speed up getting these carrots cut up and move along. Okay, and I'm not speeding it up very much, just a little bit. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and get these cut up, and then I have some onions that I'll be cutting up, but I'm going to do that after I've gotten the meat in the jars, just because I'm running out of counter space here to put bowls to hold stuff, so just bear with me. Once I get these carrots cut up, I'm going to go ahead and put the meat in the jars, and that will free up a little bit of space. So there's the meat that I cut up earlier without the excess fat. I'm just going to grab it and fill the jars. I'm going to fill them about halfway, roughly. And it might look in some jars like it's a little more than halfway. That's okay, because it's all going to get packed down. It's not packed at all in that halfway part. So also, once I add liquid, I'm going to debubble, and that's going to help things settle to the bottom a little bit more as well. And at some point here, I'm going to abandon using this funnel because it slows me down. So if you see me abandon that, I'm not recommending that you do that. I'm just saying that I just ended up doing it because I just felt like it was slowing me down. So anyway, one thing I wanted to mention is that I did look up just a second ago that there are actually 3 cookbooks that I'm going to be using for the October videos. There's a Betty Crocker cookbook, there's a Good Housekeeping cookbook, and then there's a cookbook called Gourmet Recipes. And all of them are from the 60s. I think one of them might be from the early 70s, but they're from a long time ago. They're from before I was born. I was born in the mid-70s, so they're from before I was born for sure. So anyway, there's a lot of really good recipes in one of those cookbooks that I'm looking forward to doing at some other part. But October is just about the scary recipes. And I'm going to tell you, one of the recipes is an aspic that I'm going to be doing. You're going to have to just watch throughout the month of October to see when I do that one. But it is pretty scary. The ingredients are like, by themselves, maybe the ingredients aren't as terrifying, but it includes things like that unflavored gelatin, because remember, this is supposed to be an aspic. And then olives with pimentos in them, and liver sausage, and tomato juice, and different herbs and spices, and y'all, it's just got so many things in it, and I can't imagine what it's going to look like. There's not a picture in the cookbook of it, but the ingredients are horrifying to me. They're really horrifying to me. I mean, I've eaten liverwurst. It's fine. I don't love it. I don't usually buy it, but I'll eat liverwurst. But making this like into an aspic, that's going to be a scary recipe, y'all. But y'all are going to see me make it. You're going to see what it looks like. What these 60s and 70s cooks thought was perfectly normal. And then I'm going to taste it. You're going to find out what I think about it. So, all right. Now I'm going to get these onions cut up. And, you know, again, I don't know exactly how much I'm going to be putting per jar, but I know I have just 2 good size onions here. I'm going to dice them up. If you put onions in your beef stew, you can, you know, cut them however you want. If you want big chunks, if you want more fine pieces, if you want strips, anything is fine. This is just how I normally do them. So this is what I'm going to be doing. And then I'll just be grabbing them and just divvying them up between the jars. And as I divvy them up, you'll see that I'll end up going back and, you know, I might add more to more jars because I'll still have some left and things like that. And I mean, I guess we all do that when we're canning things. You know, we want to make sure that everything gets balanced out. A lot of times I speed things up so much, you might not be able to see that I'm doing that. But in this case, I'm going to try as much as I can to just let things go at their normal speed and just talk to you a little bit while I'm doing all this. I hope it's not too boring for you. I know I like to watch videos sometimes where, you know, it's just somebody just chatting and talking about what they've got going on and what they're doing. And so I thought this would just be a good opportunity to do that. If this video turns out to be one that's popular, then I'll probably do more of these. But anyway, so let me finish getting this onion chopped up. I don't know if anyone saw, but I posted on my community tab recently an article from Zero Hedge that was listing 33 things that we have to look out for as far as shortages that are surely going to be coming up by 2023. Remember that what we are seeing in our grocery stores now is harvest from things that were planted like a long time ago. So we haven't even begun to see the ramifications of some of the drought and some of the different things that have been impacting rice production, wheat production, even raising cows. You know, there's a lot of different things that are in the pipeline that are, you know, potentially going to be causing different kinds of shortages. And so I hope everybody's stocked up. Y'all have heard me talk about that a lot, and I'm not going to bore you by talking a whole lot more about it, but I just will say, if you haven't seen that article, you might want to go to my channel and then click on the community tab and look for that post with the link to the Zero Hedge article, because I found that to be very informative and also kind of alarming. And this is to say nothing of, you know, what they were talking about, the possibility of a railroad strike, which appears like it's not going to happen. I think they worked something out. But we're on a delicate balance with a whole lot of things, y'all. We're on a delicate balance. And I'll tell you what, it's been really challenging for me these last several months with grocery prices as high as they are. And all I can say is I am so thankful for everything that I put up in my freezer much earlier this year, because things have gotten so expensive. It would really hurt my grocery budget if I was having to buy things week to week, as you know, without relying on what I have in my freezer or in my pantry. So it's a huge help to have those. What it does is it's not to say you're not buying food, and it's not to say I'm not going to have to buy food later. But what it does is it reduces what I have to buy from week to week. Pretty much the only things that I'm having to buy from week to week right now are milk and butter and eggs. You know, and I don't even buy necessarily those every week, because some of them last me longer than a week. For instance, eggs and butter. I mean, I always keep a lot of butter in the house, but or yogurt. That's another thing. And as far as vegetables, I mean, more often than not, I buy frozen. That way, you know, I've got so much in my freezer and I've got so much in my pantry, I'm not having to buy a lot of things fresh. This chuck roast today, I did buy fresh just because I wanted to get this done. I didn't want to have to take something out of my freezer and thaw it out to do this, because I'm doing this for my dad's birthday. You know, so I did what I had to do, but as a general rule right now, I'm not buying meats that aren't on sale. You know, if it's whether it's chicken, beef, pork, whatever, if it's not on sale at a really good price, I'm not buying it. That's just how it is. I mean, it amazes me that chicken breast has gone up 50% from what it was last year at this time. Last year at this time, the chicken breast at my local Walmart was like $1.99 a pound. Now it's like $2.99 a pound. So it's gone up 50%. That's amazing. Don't tell me that there's, you know, 8% inflation, or like that 1 month, 0 inflation. That's such a crock, because obviously, you know, stuff has gone up month over month over month, we are way past just 8%. That's just crazy talk. So anyway, but again, I just hope everybody's got a good stock of things that will really help you out when you're not having to go and buy up all your groceries every week, and you can rely on things that you have frozen, that you got at a good price, or things that you have in your pantry. I have done some pretty good hauls recently where I replenished some things in my pantry that I was running low on, some different canned goods that I don't want to bother canning, just because it's cheaper for me to buy them already canned. For instance, string beans, that's just, I don't grow enough in my garden to can them, and it would cost me more to buy string beans than to just buy them already canned. Same thing with canned mushrooms. In my case, I don't have anybody that I can buy mushrooms from, as far as locally, that I can get at a really good price. So I just buy the mushrooms in the little jars. So, okay, so I'm at the point now where I'm going to put in the potatoes. And I'm sure you've been seeing that I have been using the funnel some and then not using the funnel some. And it's generally best to use the funnel because it helps keep the rims of your jars clean. And that's what I, typically try to do, but today I was just ready to get this done, and so I wasn't worrying a whole lot about the funnel. Plus, I knew I was going to be cleaning the rims of my jars with vinegar. Vinegar is the best thing for really cleaning off the tops of your jars. And look, I thought about this today when I was cleaning the rims of these jars, because I'm recording this after the fact, because obviously I'm just talking about some different things as I do this. But I thought about this today. When you clean the rims of your jars, really pay attention. Like, don't just give them a quick wipe and not really pay attention to what you're doing, because there were definitely some jars today that I was getting some debris from. What it was you'll see that I'll be putting in some bouillon powder, I'll be putting in some herbs and some and things like that, and it ends up causing some of it ends up coming out on the sides of the jar, so it makes a little bit of a mess. But I really had to be careful, because otherwise I could have had some jars fail when I canned them, because there might have been some debris between the lid and the rim of the jar. And so make sure you pay attention when you clean your rims, so that you're getting those really clean. And also make sure there are no chips on the rims of your jars, because that can sometimes happen. That's happened to me before, and it's heartbreaking when you have a jar that doesn't seal because you actually have a little chip on the rim of your jar. So here I am determined to get the rest of these potatoes in these jars. I'm just pressing things down. And again, I know once I add the liquid in, it's, I'll be able to debubble and everything will go down a little bit more. So one thing I'm doing different this time than last time is last time I used the beef bouillon and I added a little salt, because I was worried that the bouillon wasn't going to be enough. But the kind of bouillon I have actually has it's really good flavor, and so I don't need any extra salt. So I'm just not adding extra salt this time. So I think this pretty much has it with the potatoes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut to the next part. Okay, so I am going to speed this up. This is my broth base that I like to use, and it calls for 2 teaspoons for a cup, so I'm doing 2 teaspoons in each jar, because each jar is going to get about a cup of liquid. And this is where I end up making a little bit of a mess. This jar right here, some of it just ends up coming out of the sides, and it is what it is. So I just ended up having a lot more of that stuff on the rims of my jars than I wanted. That's why I was super careful about cleaning them later. So I'm not adding any salt, as I mentioned, but I will be going ahead and adding water. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I still need to add a little bit of pepper. I need to add some thyme, and I'm just noticing that I am making a mess on the tops of my jars because of the dry ingredients and how full the jars are. So I'm going to go ahead and debubble these and get everything so that things will settle a little bit more in the jars. And then I'll add the thyme and I will add the pepper. And sometimes I get questions on some of my canning videos. You didn't debubble your jam, or you didn't debubble this. If it's something that has a generally liquid consistency and there are no large solids or anything in there that air is going to be getting trapped around, I'm probably not going to bother with debubbling. But anytime there's something that has solid pieces of anything in it, of any substantial nature, I'm definitely going to debubble, because having air bubbles in your jars can cause your jars to break. It can cause all kinds of problems. So now you see I'm just adding thyme. I'm just adding a little bit of thyme to each jar, less than 1/4 teaspoon, and I'm also adding a little bit of black pepper, just a little sprinkle. And I am being very careful here about cleaning the rims of all of my jars with vinegar. And I buy white vinegar in bulk from Sam's Club. I just go ahead and get, multiple gallons at a time. I'm using my 4 jars canning lids to can these. Why? Because I have found that 4 jars in the last year have been more reliable for me than ball lids. I'm very sad that that's the way it's been, because I've been using ball lids for so long. But now I am a big, huge fan of 4 jars lids. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this canner started. I'm putting a little bit of vinegar in here once I have it filled up. And then I'm just going to can these, and once they're totally done processing and I have them out of the canner, I will bring you back and show you how they turned out. Okay, here they are. They turned out perfectly. Every single lid sealed perfectly. I'll get these boxed up and get them to my dad. If you enjoy this kind of video where I'm just chatting about things while I'm canning, let me know in the comments below, so that way I'll know to do more of them. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll give this video a like, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.